Gwega na wageronu, wat ganuanadu se wagwego, gate Rio Yujats. Hio Kirby here with you, part of Mohawk TV. And today we are going to interview Roxanne Whitebean. Now, coming up at the end of the month, November 23rd, there is going to be a fundraising breakfast for her. Now, she was just recently diagnosed with breast cancer, advanced as a matter of fact. And of course, she has a budding career, and she continues to work at her career, and it is an extremely tough job that she has taken on, both for her health and also for her directing career, because she's working also in the cinematography and also doing a documentary on her actual life at this moment. So we're going to speak to her about that. We're going to speak to her about her health, her career, and also the fundraiser coming up at the end of the month at the Knights of Columbus. All right, we're speaking with Roxanne Whitebean here in Kahnawake, and she has welcomed us to her humble abode. First of all, a little bump in the road as far as your health is concerned. But before we even talk about that, because there is a fundraiser for you coming up at the end of the month. It's February 23rd, I believe?
23rd, yeah.
Okay. However, before we get into that, I mean, you had aspirations, and you still have aspirations, and I'm sure, like this little bump in the road is going to get you back onto that path. And tell us a little bit about this insofar as getting a grant from the Canadian government and also to do a short film. I want to know about that and let the people know about that.
Okay, so several years ago, I began writing and I guess pursuing all the things that I always thought were unattainable because I was a teen mom and I just really I needed a weekly paycheck. So I worked for KSCS for almost 6 years with special needs individuals. And then from there, while I was on maternity leave, I decided that I wasn't going to return. I started writing and things just took off and everything fell into place. So I ended up, I entered my film in a competition hosted by the Canada Council for the Arts, and the jury selected me as one of the emerging artists to make my film. And in the meantime, while I was working on all of that stuff, I was working on Mohawk Girls. So I started on last season, last spring, because it's really season 1. We didn't film season 2 this past spring. It's just a continuation of season 1. So I started as the producer's assistant, and then I continued working on Dream Big and other shows and different things that Resolution and Mohawk Princess Pictures were doing together.
So you were finding your niche. This is your niche now, and something you felt that, the path you were now going to take as far as a career.
And then, and then this spring when we filmed the second part, I casted all the native extras. I helped people get speaking roles on the show, and I was a third assistant director on the show. So, but I was training because you have to get a certain amount of union credits before you're a union assistant director, and I'm almost there. I think I may even have it, but it's a matter of contacting the union and then doing the classes that they have and things, and I'm not sure if I can go and get this done now, but so I was doing well, and I also directed 5 mini documentary series. They're going to be published soon, and that's for Dream Big. And
so they're basically all in the can. We are going to be looking for them.
Yeah, they're already shot. They're already done. Same thing with my film, Legend of the Storm. That was a poetic allegory, and what I did was I wrote a very contemporary legend with a poetic feel to it, and then we made the film. So this is in post-production right now, and because I won that competition, I have to finish. I have to finish it because it could mean my career, but it's really hard because the editors and things like that are in the city, so we're sending notes back and forth, and I can't be in studio. I can't, be around too many people all the time because I can't afford to get sick.
Yeah.
So
at this point.
Yeah. So it's taking a lot longer to complete, but it was all because it was a low budget film. I mean, $20,000 is a lot of money to a normal person for us, sure. But for a film, that's nothing. To make a decent short film, it costs around $120,000. to make a decent one. So to have 20,000, we really had to put in a lot of work. So I was like wardrobe, I was working with, I had the art director for Mohawk Girls, but she was doing, you know, a favor. She was helping me out, and so she just kind of gave us direction with the art.
Yeah. So in order to save money, you basically had to wear all the hats.
I wore all the hats, and I hired the crew. I was managing everything, and I mean, now that I've experienced that, and while directing and everything else, I know that I'm only going to wear one hat on my next film, because that was really. But it was an experience, and
well, it added experience, obviously. I mean, it's giving you all that. So when your next project comes along, you know that the people
it's a cakewalk
you're looking for.
Yeah, and I know the value of like having, you know, a manager and all those things now, because it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was an achievement and something that I was really hoping, you know, to do, and I got to do it, and.
Well, tell us now about while you were working on this short. This is when you realized that there was something wrong.
Yeah, it must have been about 2 weeks before we confirmed the dates, the shooting dates, and everything. And about 2 weeks before we were set to begin production, this is when I had found. It was a lump in my breast, and it was really big, and I couldn't believe it. I kept thinking, like, how did I not notice this? You know, because years ago in 2006, I went to the hospital, I had it checked out. It was a tiny little thing, and they told me I was just too young to worry about breast cancer. I think I was like 20 or 21.
Really?
So it's been developing for a very long time, but when I found it, it wasn't a tiny little thing. It was like bigger than a golf ball, maybe. And I knew I was really nervous about it, and I started doing research, but then I was getting calls for the film, and the actors were coming, and we needed all these things and whatever, and I looked, and exactly where it was is where, you know, breast cancer usually begins, and the shape of it, everything, like it had every single sign that it was cancer, and even like the swollen lymph nodes and the pain and all of that stuff, and I was like, crap, I just knew.
Was there a panic, or did you keep a level head about it? And of course, I wouldn't know about this. However, I mean, we have many here in Kahnawake whose family members. I mean, we've all been touched by cancer, and we understand the scenarios.
I kept very calm, and I didn't tell anyone. Yeah. I didn't tell a soul, and I was just like, I just kept saying, you know what, it's probably not. Like in the back of my mind, I kept saying, you know what, it's probably not, but I knew it was. So I was kind of in denial. Yeah. But we went through the shoot, and there were times where it would be on my mind, and then I would just push it away. And I said, you know, we worked so hard to get to this point. Everyone, the actors and everyone, I'm not going to destroy like this little shoot we're doing. So we're going to get through it, and then I'll go to the hospital later.
Put your career before your health.
Wow, it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks, but still.
A national competition, you have to weigh the, you know. Like,
understandable.
But interesting, interesting enough, later on, I found out that Regan Jacobs was one of the jury members who was on the Canada Council for the Arts. When I seen her name, I was like, what? Holy smokes, that's so cool. And she was like, no, I reached out to her, I said thank you, and she said I really supported the project, I really did, and then I had the opportunity as well. They ended up calling me and asking me to go and judge 3 of their competitions. So I got to see what it's about, and you know, learn about how the selection process and all of these things, and about, you know, writing grants and the competition and what's out there. And so it was a really exciting time. You know, it's a time in my career where you make it or you don't. Like, I can go any which way, but I mean, to be hit with advanced cancer in the midst of that, it's...
Well, now I'm starting to see that, you know, even though you're going through this hardship, that you're not letting it take you over. You know, your mind is so strong that you're actually continuing on with your career and going, look, life has to continue no matter what. However, now moving forward, I mean, this is advanced. I mean, you are going to go through some extreme trials and tribulations in regards to your health. And obviously, we're never ready. There's no real preparedness except for, you know, solidifying your inner being and your mind. Can you give, you know, some of the folks out there an idea how you plan to go through this?
Well, one of the things, because I'm a filmmaker and all of that, we're making a full feature documentary about my journey, and we've already begun filming and everything. So I mean, it was really hard for me to have to lose my hair, because as an Ungwehungwe woman, we all know what that means to us and symbolizes, but my hair has been long, like since I was a child, like right, you know, to the floor. And so we cut it off, and I had all of those emotions, but I mean, over the span of my journey, we're going to be including a lot of really interesting things, traditional medicines and all of that, because I've already I find that it's really difficult. It was really difficult to make the decision to do the Western medicine.
Sure.
Because I grew up, you know, more traditional mindset and all of that. But how do you trust it after everything? And I mean, the environment, and this is why cancers are, you know, developing more and more, and the GMOs and all of that stuff. So how do you really trust it? But my family said that I don't have time to waste. You know, I'm very lucky because I don't just have the tumor, I have a very big spread within my body as well. But I mean, I'm very lucky because it didn't go, it's not in my bones and not in my lungs.
Yeah. So it hasn't metastasized,
it's like 14 centimeters, the spread, plus the tumor, but it didn't go into, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't find the word.
I would imagine for those families who have gone through cancer understand exactly what you're talking about when it comes to that, because there are certain areas where it can be held off as long as it doesn't metastasize, and then, you know, that's a whole.
Well, the metastasize, I think that's the spread.
Yeah, the spread.
It's the 14 centimeter spread plus the tumor, so it has done that, but it's still just within this area, and it didn't go into.
And therefore, the reasoning for the, you know, the extreme chemo at this point.
Because right now I have one more round of, they call it the Red Devil, because it's really toxic and your body could shut down. But I did the 3 rounds of that, and then I have one more, and then I have once a week for 12 weeks, just like the standard chemo, and then I get my surgeries and the radiation, and then I can't remember the name of it, but apparently it allows your hair to grow and things like that. And I have 1 year of that every 3 weeks, and then I just take the pills, the hormonal therapy pills, and that's like for 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess because the cancer is estrogen positive, so it's going to stop my estrogen levels, but it could send me into early menopause. So I'm like, oh, it's a good thing that I have all my kids, and I didn't want any more kids, you know. So, but we're trying to make do, you know, like, and stay positive and things, but all the support from the community is definitely helping, you know. Yeah,
we'll get to that in a second. Also, of course, talk about the family. You definitely need that entire family support.
Yeah. Well, my family, they made a schedule and they check on me and all these things. And if I need help, you know, in the morning, my mom will come, or they'll take them off the bus. So there's a after-school schedule, because my little ones are small and they run away, and they take advantage of, you know, the fact that I can't chase them down. So my family has really stepped up, but I mean, people that I don't even know. There was a man who dropped off an entire deer at my father's house.
Beautiful.
And my dad butchered it, and so we have all of this, you know, wild meat because I can't eat foods with hormones in it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know this man, you know, and he did that. So I'm really grateful for everything that everyone's doing, and
well, therefore, you know, the fundraiser also. I mean, there's a reasoning, and of course, you're talking about, you know, how you now have to change your diet. I mean, it's not just going to, you know, supersede and getting the food. You actually have to go out and to eat healthy and a healthy lifestyle these days is extremely expensive.
It's extremely expensive, but there's a lot of additional costs when you're sick that people don't realize. You know, like a wig, and eventually I may need like eyebrows and lashes, you know, like, so that, like, just those kind of costs. But then there's when you travel to see these medicine people, sometimes you need like honorarium gifts to give them when they help you, and paying for the parking at the hospital, and like your lunch and whatever. There's just a lot of additional costs, but
well, this was meant for a stepping stone for you. It's you start with this project.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get the accolades. You never get paid. Obviously,
yeah, no.
You're
well,
a young person.
If you end up winning, you know, awards or
but
whatever.
You're hoping to be seen by other producers and directors and say, "Oh, this is an up and comer. We're going to take her in." So, understandably.
But I'm lucky that, you know, Resolution and Mohawk Princess did take me in. But I have like a really creative way about the work that I produce, you know. So I think I found like my calling, but it's really hard because people will say, oh, everything's already written before you're born. It's like, I don't think I would have written this, you know, into my life.
No, it's true.
I don't believe that at all.
Okay, well now, because we're going to finish this off rather soon, but it is Sunday, February 23rd, I do believe. Not February, November. Sorry, Sunday, November 23rd at the Knights of Columbus Hall.
Yeah.
And it's $12 per person. It's going to be an entire breakfast, and of course donations. And I understand people are going to be handing donations in also.
I think it's a silent. There's a silent auction and a raffle. And I'm gonna do my best to be there because I'm not sure I'm gonna be doing the chemo once a week by the time.
Yeah. Well, we had this conversation, you know, I had asked you if you would be able to do that interview, but you know, you're straightforward about it. You don't even know if you're going to be in great shape, you know.
Yeah, if I'll be there.
Yeah.
Because it takes its toll on your body for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that I know that I'm gonna like get better. It's just a matter of time because the tumor itself has shrunk already just from the 3 rounds of the strong chemo. So I'm gonna do my best to make it there, but I don't know. It's really hard to go out in the community, you know, like especially with my new blonde hair.
And by the way, the blonde hair looks great. It fits you, I'm telling you.
My friends, everyone was like, why did you choose blonde? Because I always had long dark hair, and I was like, every time I looked in the mirror, I laughed. I laughed because it's so out of character for me, you know.
It's true. We've always known you with long dark hair, flowing. And then, well, she chose blonde, but you look. I went, all right. Saw it on Facebook, and I went, oh yeah, fits you. Not a problem at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, might as well. Try to live it up now.
All right, Roxanne. Thanks a lot for the time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, and hopefully you can get out there for the fundraiser. If not, we are all going to understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mohawk TV has also given a donation to Roxanne Whitebean. This is Heo Kirby for Mohawk TV.